Mr. Buffett, my name is Hank Strickland. I'm from Fairfax, Virginia, which if it were a city would be the 10th largest in the United States. I'm here as a stockholder, and my daughter, who's also my broker, is here with me. We were also out there Friday night when we watched you warming up for the beginning of the ball game, and we noted that you didn't drop the ball. You seemed to be able to get it to the guy that was warming you up. We noticed your first pitch, which I had difficulty characterizing as either being a pass ball or a wild pitch.
It was a premature sinker, actually. Very, very hard to hit, I might add.
And then you moved sprightly into the stands, did a lot of picture-taking, photo opportunities, signed autographs, vaulted over a rail or two, and we noted with great enthusiasm your fitness. Now, that all having been said, many people would characterize Berkshire as a one-man company, with all due respect to Charlie. And many of us in this audience here, I'm sure, are retired or semi-retired. It's not unthinkable that perhaps you might want to retire, or for good God's sake.
It's unthinkable.
Unthinkable.
I don't want that one to go by.
or for something worse could happen. And for those
that would be the worst. I think.
Well,
I think death would be second.
I could think of some things some of us might want to do to protect our sizable investments, say, having owned Berkshire since blue chip stamp days. But anyway, we could put in a stop order, might take out an insurance policy. We might ask Charlie to masquerade as Warren after you moved on. Those don't seem like very attractive options. I'm very serious now. Yeah. How would you respond to the question of a stockholder that's really concerned about Berkshire being a one-man show?
Yeah, well, Berkshire is not a one-man show. It's a two-man show in terms of capital allocation. There's no question about that at present. But it's run by many managers that are doing an outstanding job and that don't need any guidance from Charlie or me as they go along. But I might say that, I will die with all of my Berkshire stock, essentially, and that stock will be held either in the family or in a foundation, depending on the order of death, for a long time thereafter. So there's no one that's more concerned about the subsequent management issue than I. I mean, this is not something that ends at all on my death, and it doesn't end for the Buffett family or the Buffett Foundation. So it's a subject that Charlie and I have both thought about. The most likely situation, you got to get away from the idea that it's a one-man show, because right now we've got 33,000 people working for Berkshire out there, as we speak. And I'm sitting around, watching movies about myself or something. I mean, you can see how vital I am to the place. But the question. And the other thing we do besides allocate capital is we do identify these managers and hopefully we make it attractive for them to stay and work for Berkshire. But that doesn't require 150 IQ or anything to do that. It does require a certain sensitivity to why people want to get up in the morning and do what they do. And when I'm not around, the logical, at some point, depends on exactly when it happens, but Charlie's a little older than I am, and it's likely that it will be broken into a two-person function again, but not exactly the way Charlie and I function, and that is that there will be someone in charge of investments and capital allocation. I mentioned Lou Simpson's position because he is younger than I am in the annual report, and then someone in charge of operations, and we have that person in the organization now. Now, I don't know what the situation will be when I die, because it could be in 20 minutes or it could be in 20 years. And when that, so I can't specifically name the individuals. We have the individuals now for both those functions. We'll have the individuals for the same functions 20 years from now. I don't know whether they'll be the same people. But it's quite a logical way to run the business. GEICO was run that way and still is run that way, and has been for some years. It's always struck me as terribly illogical the way property casualty insurance companies are run, because been dominated by the underwriting side of the business, and here they have this important investment side, but it's always been, virtually every company's been subservient to the underwriting end. GEICO very logically set up a co-CEO arrangement some years back where originally Bill Snyder and before that, but Tony Nicely ran the underwriting end of the business, and Lou Simpson ran the investment side, and those are two very different functions. Same person logically doesn't fit both functions in most cases. I mean, it's a rarity when the same person happens to hit for both functions. So GEICO worked very well that way, still works that way. Lou runs investments, Tony runs underwriting, and Berkshire, slightly different. It's a variant on it, but essentially at Berkshire headquarters you need someone overseeing and not meddling in them too much, but making sure you've got the right manager and you're treating them fairly. You need someone on the operating side, you need someone on the investment and capital allocation side. We've got those people now, and we'll have them, whenever it happens too. But that is the structure, and we've got some very good businesses. And nobody's buying See's Candy because they think I'm sitting in some office in Omaha, and no one's buying a GEICO insurance policy because my name is there as chairman or CEO. The businesses are marvelous businesses. They'll continue very well, and there will be a capital allocation problem then, just like there is now, and there will be the problem of keeping good managers in place and treating them fairly, and that's a solvable problem. So that's the future as seen from Kiewit Plaza. Charlie?
Yes, if you just run your mind through all the assets, I think you will quickly decide that there are large momentums in place that would do very well without us. Is Coca-Cola going to suddenly stop selling because some manager's dead at Berkshire Hathaway? Are the people going to stop using Gillette razor blades? Is GEICO suddenly going to stop being intelligently run? Is the Nebraska Furniture Mart going to try any less hard? So the existing assets, you can argue, have been lovingly put together so as not to require continuing intelligence at headquarters. And what there would be a disadvantage in that I think would be unreasonable to expect that a successor would be as good at making new investments as Warren has been in the past. Well, that's just too damn bad.
The sympathetic ear over here.